Hello, everybody. Tell everybody that I'm live. Okay. Hey, Silva. Letting people know that I'm live right now. Boop-a-doop. Okay. All right. Now let me go. All right. I think I let everybody know that I'm live. I think I've posted it all the places I want to post it. One of these days, I'll get a bot that does that for me. Okay. And hello, everybody. We are doing the Stream Beats music again because that's the only one that's been safe so far. I just got a message, I just got an email the other day that one of my writing project streams, one of the ones when I first started my brainstorming session from when I was working on my Deus Ex Machina story, is you got copyright claim where I can't monetize it. It's not a copyright strike, but it's just like, geez. I have to like edit stuff out. It's just kind of sad that like now I'm starting to get these emails when I thought I was doing really good. Because like when I look at my YouTube page, right, my YouTube studio page, it just says copyrighted content found, copyright owner allows this music. I'll see you in a little bit. Silva, take care. It says copyrighted content. A copyright owner allows content to be used on YouTube. So I thought, oh, that means I'm fine. And now I'm getting these emails saying, no, that actually means that the video can't be monetized. And I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. I mean, I wasn't monetizing anyway, but like, having that completely shut down as a, like, finding out that it's because of the music, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to like work with a different music stuff, and that's kind of frustrating because I was just really getting into the music. I know what I realistically should do is like custom make playlists on like Spotify or downloaded music stuff from NCS, non-copyright sounds, and use that. That's probably what I should do. But like, that's a lot. That's a lot to make a full playlist. Like, I don't even know how long of a playlist I would want. Like, you want to have some variation in a playlist. And the thing with non-copyright sounds is I can't just, when I go onto their portal, I can't just be like, give me a playlist and then download all the songs from that playlist, right? I have to I have to pick the songs, and then I have to download them one at a time if I want to have them offline. And that's just a lot of work. That's realistically just a lot of work. Hey, Nabiru. So, announcement time. I wanted to do a quick announcement. I am going away for Thanksgiving. Gonna be spending about a week with my family down in Florida. And that'll be interesting. So, but I'm right now, as it stands right now, I'm gonna be leaving on Tuesday the 21st of November, and I'll be back on Tuesday the 28th of November. So I'll be gone for a week. So that means that I'm not going to be streaming. I'm probably not. I'm taking my computer with me, so I could theoretically set my computer back up for streaming again, and then because I'm taking my laptop with me, and then like stream from my laptop. I could theoretically do that, but like if I did that, it would just be a it would just be a writing stream, which is kind of what I'm doing all month anyway, because that's the month's theme. But like, yeah, that would be what I would do. But right now, what it's looking like is I'm going to be spending time with family. I'm definitely going to still be working on my story. I might post snippets of it on Discord to share with people. I've shared a couple snippets so far of some passages that I was really proud of or that I thought were really funny. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, and like, it just kind of came up out of the blue. My family contacted me and was like, we want to see you for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, what? We couldn't have planned this like 2 months ago? And now I'm scrambling to arrange a ride and trying to get everything situated for my for the trip. And it's just really funny. I'm gonna have to like do laundry and stuff and make sure I have clean clothes because I'm gonna be there for a week. So it'll be something, I guess. But yeah, so gonna do that. It also means I'm gonna have like a week where I'm not running games. That'll be interesting because like the Tuesday I leave. Let me check my schedule. Let me check my what is my address? Why does my mom want to know my address? Why does my mother want to know? I don't know if my mom's trying to like kidnap me or something. Check one thing. I'm overthinking this. I know. My mom texted me and was just like, "What's your address?" And I'm like, "Is she trying to ship me something?" But then I realized since she's trying to book a thing, she probably needs my address. I hope I didn't say an address, did I? I was just reciting things in my head. Nah, bro, tell me, did I say anything weird? Hope I don't have to mute the VOD. Nope, okay. But yeah, so my mom texted me and is like, "What's your address?" Then it occurs to me that like she probably needs to give them my address so that way I can check in for the whenever I get to the airport. Okay. I was telling my mom because my mom I texted my mom. It was like, because she'd called me and then texted me, and I texted her. I was like, I need to know this, and this, and this thing before I go, right? Like, I'm vegan, so I need to know that there is something that I can eat while I am there, right? You said that there would be something for me to eat for the Thanksgiving meal, but for the other days too, I'm going to need food. And I'm like, even if it's something simple like packs of ramen and beans, I need to know that there is food. And so she called me and she's like, it doesn't matter if you stay with me or stay with your aunt. Both of us have pantries fully stocked with stuff, and we've got plenty of beans. And I swear, if I go there and my aunt says that they're out of beans, I will flip, because I'm like, that was literally one of my conditions. And like, so that was the thing. And like I said, you know, I'm fine with cooking my own food. I just need supplies. And I said, you know, there'd be places for me to stay no matter whether I stay with my mom or stay with my aunt. And I'm like, well, since the Thanksgiving dinner is going to be at my aunt's place, why don't I just stay with my aunt, right? It's simple, less travel for me, a lot easier. Lo and behold, now they deign to tell me, after I say that, they're like, oh, wait, the Thanksgiving dinner isn't happening at your aunt's place. It's happening at this other relative's place. And I'm like, I was not and they're like, oh, you can spend time with your cousins, and your cousins have been spending time with your other cousins, so you can see them too. And I'm like, whoa, I did not sign up for seeing that many people. Hold up. They're like, well, don't worry, there won't. Then they kind of backpedaled. They're like, don't worry, there won't be that many people at the Thanksgiving dinner. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am not getting dressed up for this. I am wearing flip-flops. I swear I am wearing flip-flops. I am showing up in a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. And like, yeah, exactly. And like, I agreed to this under the impression that it was going to be a small Thanksgiving dinner at my aunt's house with my aunt, my cousins, and my mom. Right? That's what I thought I was signing up for. Now I find out it is going to be another get-together at a different relative's house, and there's going to be other people there too. And I'm like, ooh. And I'm doing this writing challenge, and I don't want to fall behind because I'm doing really good on the writing challenge. So I told my mom, like, I'm going to bring my laptop, and I'm going to need time to write. And, like, they didn't say anything about that in the call, but I'm like, that's important to me. Welcome back, Silva. I was just saying, for the week of Thanksgiving, I'm not going to be, I'm going to stream on that. I'm probably going to stream on that Monday, but I'm not going to stream on the Friday or the following Monday, probably, because I'm going to be out of town. Yeah, that's about right, Nabiru. I'm going to be visiting family on the east coast of Florida. You type so fast, Silva. I was just talking about how it was really funny that, like, I signed up for one thing. Like, I agreed to go down to the dinner because I thought it was going to be a small family get-together with, like, my aunt, my cousins, and my mom, and maybe, like, one or two other people. And then after I agreed to it, they tell me, no, it's actually going to be at this other relative's house, and there's going to be these other people. But don't worry, it's not too many people. It's not too many people. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I might let you know, Silva. I might let you know. I'll probably be down there for about a week. And it's like, this is gonna sound really bad, but I have this fear because my mother has been trying to convince me to move to Florida for a long time, right? And my mom has gotten desperate, almost unhinged with trying to like get me to move back to Florida, right? I have this fear that like if I go down there, my mom is gonna try some shenaniganry and try to like essentially kidnap me. And like not take me to the airport for the return flight or something, right? Something like that, Nabiru. And like, but I was like, okay, while I have this fear, right? My mom has not done anything to directly state that she's going to kidnap me or to like, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to take a breath and acknowledge this might be my anxiety blowing this out of proportion. Right? So I'm like, let's take a chance here. Also, I don't think my aunt would do that. So then I get on the call with them today, right? And I told them in the text, I was like, before we leave, I need to have the return flight booked. I didn't tell them that it was because of like my own somewhat irrational fear, but I told them that I need to know so I can have a ride arranged to pick me up when I get back, which is, I think, is a logical thing. I'm like, that needs to be a thing. But then when I get on the call, they're like, well, why don't you come down here, and then whenever you want to go back, we'll book the return flight for you. And I'm like, it's like setting off alarm bells after finding out that the dinner is going to be at somebody else's house and finding out that like it's not going to be exactly what I expected. And I'm like, alarm bells going off in my head, trying not to panic. So I was just like, no, absolutely not, non-negotiable. I need the return flight to be booked before I get on that plane to go down there. And so like they're working on booking that now. So I'll be down there from right now. It's looking like a Tuesday to Tuesday. Might be shorter depending on how stuff goes. We'll see. I think most of the time I'm going to be on the East Coast. Like I had the option of like I could go into the onto the West Coast and then head to the East Coast, but I was like, because when I originally agreed to it and I said I wanted to head in on the East Coast, I was like, I thought I was only going to be there for like 3-4 days. But then they're like, you know, it'll be a lot easier to get a flight out because like right after Thanksgiving, there's going to be so much busyness and stuff at the airport. It's going to be insane. It's going to be a lot easier to get a flight out the following Monday or Tuesday. So why don't you just stay for a Tuesday to Tuesday? And I was like, because originally I wanted to leave like on Saturday, like Saturday or Sunday. I originally wanted to go up there on Tuesday and then leave on Saturday or Sunday. So I was only planning to be there for a few days. And so when it was that, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna have a lot of time to visit, so I'll just stay on the East Coast. And then is like, okay, so what if you just leave on Monday, Tuesday? And now I'm like, there's now more days. Now there is now more days. But my mom is in the process of trying to book the flight. And it's funny, my mom was trying to book the flight on Delta, but turns out that she found out she doesn't have enough frequent flyer air points or whatever. Yeah. Whenever I get that confirmation, I'm gonna be confirming that. But my mom is in the process of booking the flights now. Oh geez, heater turned on. Give me 1 second. But that's what's planned for right now. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing with a week there. They want me to spend time with my cousins who I haven't seen in years. Yeah. I swear if I get there and there's some kind of like planned intervention or some kind of thing, I'm going to be so pissed. And like, I remember like in my mom has been desperately trying to get me to move back to Florida. And last time it came up while I was there, I cracked a joke with my mother that my mom took and ran with, right? And that was how I knew my mom was going nuts. And I was like, Mom, if you find me a job and a girlfriend, then I'll stay in Florida. And this was when I was single. And my mom just instantly started like looking for jobs and talking to people about trying to find, and she starts asking me like, what's the age range I'm looking to date? And I'm like, oh my gosh, mom, no. So, we'll see what happens. Main reason I'm going is because I want to have access to a kitchen where I can do some real cooking. And I want to make some seitan. It's a vegan meat substitute. That's one of my favorite. It's like my favorite vegan meat substitute, but I very rarely get a chance to make it. I definitely prefer it over tofu, and it makes me very sad that I don't have a local place that I can get seitan from cheaply. Like, and so like, okay, seitan, if you get it store-bought, is always packed full of salt and preservatives because on its own it doesn't last that long. So for commercial purposes, it has to be packed full of preservatives, and it gets really expensive because of all the preservatives and all the stuff you got to do in order to make it last long enough to make it to sell it, right? Even in the freezer section, right? But normally people sell it in the refrigerated section. But if you make it at home, it's really cheap. It's really, really cheap. And it is like, I have some bags of gluten flour. That's one of the main ingredients for it. I'm thinking about bringing that with me, like throwing that in my backpack, and not my backpack, into my suitcase. But I'm wondering if it's gonna get like flagged. Hold on, let me see. Can you fly with gluten flour? Let me Google that. That's just a funny thing to Can I bring flour? Tiny kitchen. Carry on or checked baggage. Okay, solid food items, not liquids or gels. Okay, so I can bring the gluten flour with me. Okay. Okay, so that both is checked to carry on luggage. Okay. I'll probably put it in my checked luggage. I'll probably bring my gluten flour with me and make some seitan. Seitan is like arguably one of my favorite foods. Like when I first went vegan and I had all of this verve and zest and energy for cooking and I was super motivated and I learned about seitan, I was just so blown away with how versatile as well as how traditional the rest how it is, because like how old is seitan? So the first term for seitan, the word seitan was coined in 1961. History, here we go. But it dates back to China in the 6th century. By Buddhist monks. So like he's old. It's a traditional thing, right? And like I love things with history. I love things with history and tradition. And that was one of the things I just really loved about seitan was how old it was, how simple and old the technique was. And I was just so energized by seitan. It's actually really funny. I was like, for a while, what do you mean gluten is the enemy, Silva? Boo you. And so, you know, when you have ADHD and you hyperfixate on things sometimes, for a while, I was hyperfixated on cooking seitan. Different types, different variations, different techniques. And that was one of the things I just did for fun. And it got to the point that I think it was like this past Christmas, my the people I used to live with as a gift got me 2 bags of seitan. Not seitan, 2 bags of gluten flour, which is the main ingredient. And they're like, we remember you used to like it. And it was really awkward because it's not really my hyperfixation anymore. So then it's like you get a gift for a hobby that used to consume your life. And you're just like, But like using, what do you mean? Gluten is not the enemy. Why did the all caps gluten get moved from top chat to alt chat? That's funny. But the thing is, I was debating not bringing any gluten flour with me and just making it the traditional way out of flour, because you can just make it traditionally out of flour and it has arguably a better taste if you make it the traditional way of washing the flour, right? But it's a lot of work. Oh my gosh, it's a lot of work, and you use up so much water. But like this YouTuber did a thing about like, is it cheaper to make seitan using gluten flour or making it the traditional way, the washed flour method, and found that it was like 3 times cheaper per pound to make seitan using regular flour than it was to make it using gluten flour. But it is so much easier and you use up so much less water when you wash this, because in ancient times the seitan I think was like washed through, like I imagine it being washed like through a flowing river or something. or like through buckets of water that were taken from like a watering hole, right? And you just use a lot of water. But we'll see if we can't work something out, Silva. All of this literally just happened today with the whole, like, talking to my mom thing about the trip. Well, why would you say something so hurtful that gluten is the enemy? Gluten-free joke. All right, let's get to the writing portion of tonight's stream. The literal meat and potatoes. Oh yeah, I was talking about this. When I first went vegan like 6-7 years ago, right? And I was super energized and I was hyper fixating on making seitan. I had this dream of doing something that I didn't see anyone doing. I wanted to open a vegan restaurant that served thick party portions of seitan steak that would be homemade in the restaurant, either with gluten flour or the washed flour method. Either, like, I would probably like have to do it with the gluten flour, and then have like all the standard kind of steakhouse sides of like potatoes, vegetables, all different like fries, and just like be essentially a vegan steakhouse that served seitan steaks. And like, I didn't see anybody really doing that. And now I know why, because it's prohibitively oobleck. Oobleck is something that sounds familiar. Let me look that up. Cornstarch and water. I don't think you want to eat oobleck. That's just a cornstarch slurry that you would use to thicken a sauce. Why would you eat oobleck, Nabiru? Okay. Anywho. I get that. I understand that. But like, you described it as vegan when I'm talking about wanting to open a restaurant. Well, I used to want to open a restaurant. Now I know that would be so prohibitively expensive and so much work. Found out cornstarch is vegan. I remember when I went vegan, there was these memes that was talking about when you talk to someone and they're like, I've never eaten a vegan food in my life, and you're just like, have you never eaten an apple? What? Have you ever eaten an orange? What? Pear? Banana? Anyhow. Oh, Silva. Look at you trying to be a contrarian and troublemaker. Go tell the read. Okay. All right, well, let's get to the writing. It's after 9 o'clock, so now it's time to actually get to the writing portion of tonight's writing stream. Would help if I turned on the backlight behind my camera. That would probably help with tracking. So I've been tracking pretty well. This camera tracks really well. Okay. Let's boot up. That's not the one I want. That's the one I want. So, boop. Boop. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Stop it. There we go. I almost need a third monitor. Like for this, in order to have like my outline on one page, the stream stuff on another monitor, and the actual like document I'm working on a third monitor. I almost need 3 monitors. But let's get to the writing. The thing that... There we go. Cool. So, this is true. We are on chapter 8 out of 27. So we are chugging away. We are almost a third of the way through the story. I want to see, you know, ideally I want to at least finish chapter 8 tonight. But, well, so like minimum I want to finish chapter 8 tonight, right? But what would be really nice would be if we got ahead of schedule a little bit. And if I did chapter 9 too. Doing chapter 9 would be real nice. Doing chapter 9 would be real nice and be just generally really great. I just realized I didn't name the other character that is introduced in this. I didn't name the other character that's introduced in this chapter. So what's happened so far, main character has been on the run. I guess he discovered a wild Zoid, tried to turn it into his superiors. They tried to assassinate him. He's on the run. He rescued the wild Zoid and ran out. And he ran really far away from the village, from the town, to a cavern at the base of a mountain that's like way far away from the town. And he he had nothing, because like when he ran out of the building, right, to go rescue Scorpo. Oh, speaking of which, I have to show you, Nabaru, did you see any of the stuff I shared in the writing tab on the writing section of my Discord? Okay, so there were two there were two things I shared. One was something from a previous chapter where the main character was like having a nervous breakdown while eating a candy bar, that I really liked how that came together, right? And the other part was another sentence I wrote that I don't think I'd ever expected to write before. And it's after having that nervous breakdown and then finally getting comforted by the two Zoids who were like trying to like comfort him like pets try to comfort you when you're upset. He wakes up the next morning and he's getting started, and he looks out and he sees how Scorpo is sleeping. Scorpo is a 10-foot tall robot scorpion. Now 10 feet is from ground to like top of body. That is not counting like tail. Tail curves up another few feet and puts it at like almost 20 feet tall. Welcome back, Silva. So main character at the start of the day gets out of the cockpit of his mech and goes to check on like all the stuff that he didn't get a chance to check on because it was late and it was dark before. And he sees, I'll just read the passage. While Godo, that's his Godos, the Allosaurus mech, had slept standing up as was normal for a combat Zoids, Scorpo had tucked its legs under it and curled its tail around itself, becoming a round, blue and orange, metallic scorpion loaf. And I just imagine it like how you see cats form into like a cat loaf when they tuck their legs underneath them. I'm just imagining that, but a scorpion. But I just thought that was a very funny mental image, and it goes to like sell how adorable Scorpo can be whenever it's not being terrifying. And I shared this on a few different discords, and on the Zoids discord someone actually responded because I said, listen, I don't care if that's not how scorpions sleep. This is my story, and I thought it was cute and fit the story. And they said it's not. Yes, the Gap Moe, exactly. It's not expressly wrong for how scorpions sleep, because scorpions and other arachnids move their legs by hydraulic pressure of pumping stuff through their legs in order to extend the legs and then relieving the pressure to curl in the legs and all that stuff. And when they sleep, that pressure goes out, so all of their legs just curl up, but most of the legs look like they curl up on top of them. And then the tail kind of curls up in a little bun behind them. But yeah, I just thought like I just thought it'd be really interesting if like he curled up into one big loaf. Can't wait till next Friday. What are you buying next Friday? I know the only reason you say that is if you were buying something. That's the only reason you'd say that, Silva. Anyway, main character's on the run. He snuck back into his Oh, the anime is releasing on Netflix. Okay. Should have realized the only exception to you buying things would be Scott Pilgrim. He goes into, or any show you're waiting for. Yeah. So, ooh, going for the upgrade. Nice, Silva. So what happened is main character goes back home. He sneaks back home, grabs his bug out bag, grabs a few more supplies, gets a chance to shower, change, makes himself something to eat because he hasn't had anything to eat for the day yet. And like while he's doing all that, his grandmother comes over and knocks on the door. And then she reveals that she heard from his neighbor that they'd seen him sneaking into the backyard. So she came to confront him, and at first, well, came to talk to him, and at first they're having this like nice, calm, relaxed conversation, and then his grandmother goes all psycho mode and pulls a knife on him, and is like, "You killed people. You've done terrible things. I saw all about you on the news. You've and is like, you know, there's no excuse for what you've done." And he tries to explain to his grandmother. He's like, "Listen, Grandma, they sent someone to kill me, right?" And he's like, this is huge. This is a wild Zoid. This could, if Moors learn to make more wild Zoids, they could save the environment, right? Which he, you know, that's one thing he's seen a lot of, is stuff on the news about the environment collapsing because of the extinction of wild Zoids. So he tries to explain that to his grandmother, and she just like keeps like approaching him threateningly with the knife. And so he's like, "Okay, we're not dealing with this." And he's able to like rip the knife from her hands, because he's a adult who's not exactly in his prime, but he's still in pretty good shape, and she's a little old lady. So he's able to just very quickly and deftly wrench the knife from her hands. But as soon as he gets the knife from her hands, she instantly flips. All right, listen. End of the world can be a very compelling storytelling device, okay? It has something to do with the fact that I've lived through so many things that people said were going to end the world. So yeah, so as soon as he wrenches the knife from his grandmother, she just instantly changes her tone. And she's like, "I'm sorry, I've just been so stressed. It's been so stressful since I saw all that stuff on the news about you. I'm just so sorry. I didn't mean to have that outburst." And so one of the things that we sell here is that the main character, while he is relatively smart and capable, he has this huge blind spot when it comes to his town, his friends, and his family, where he just assumes things are really good, but he doesn't see things for what they really are, because he has just this huge blind spot. And he just kind of assumes the no news is good news thing. So because of that, he just assumes, okay, they're going to say terrible things about me in the news, but none of my family is going to believe them, because they would know that I'm not the kind of person to do that kind of stuff without a good reason. Like we're family and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm going to go reach out to my family and get help in order to figure out what to do next. And then what happens is his grandmother ends up betraying him again, because he tells her to keep the police busy while he sneaks out the back because the police show up. And then as he's running out the back, he hears her open the door and yell, "He's running out the back, hurry or you'll lose him," and he barely gets away. He barely gets away, and he spends the next chapter, he spends chapter 7 going from friend to friend, trying to track down some of his friends and other neighbors and people that he grew up with, that he's lived with his entire life, that he thinks would be able to help him. First, he starts with his uncle, because he knows his uncle's wife's family has family that lives up the mountain. And he's like, I'll just get in contact with them and then retreat and then hide out there near their cabin in the woods, like up the mountain away from all this, so I can figure out what to do next. Finds out his uncle is helping the police search for him. And he's like, okay. So then he heads to his best friend. He heads over to his cousin Ricky's place, which they'd grown up together. They'd always had each other's back. Ricky was the person who he thought was most likely to listen to him. He gets to Ricky's place and he sees that Ricky is already conversing with the police, and the police are asking Ricky to help with searching for him. And so he sees Ricky say, yeah, let me just get dressed, I'll be right out to help you search for him, and we're gonna, I know exactly where to start. We're gonna start at this bar he used to hang out at. We'll find him for sure. And he's like, why is Ricky helping him? Then he kind of then he goes to look for his best friend, someone who's been like his brother from another mother. Well, I didn't say brother from another mother, I should say that in there, but like the two of them, his friend Yanni, and he's looking for Yanni, and he and Yanni, ever since the high school, had always worked at the same job. They'd been inseparable as a pair. The two of them had joined the militia at the same time, and the commander always kept them on separate service rotations because they'd get up to too much shenanigans if they were on the same duty together. And I explained about how their militia works in rotations. People serve in 2-month rotations every year. And he finds his best friend leading this police officer around the back of the warehouse they work at, searching all the trucks to see if he's hiding in any of the trucks, right? Or if he might have, I don't know. I didn't really think about why he would be searching the trucks, but I just figured that they're canvassing all the places he might go. And he gets there, and as he's about to jump out, because he's assuming, because he has this big blind spot, right? He's assuming that if he jumps out and is like, Yanni, help me, that Yanni's gonna help him jump the one police officer, and that he'll be able to work with Yanni to come up with a plan. But right when he's about to jump out, here's Yanni start talking and saying stuff like, I'd say I can't believe he killed people, but I think I really do. We knew he was slightly unhinged. He never fully recovered after his divorce. Kept hoping he'd open up, but he wouldn't. He just doesn't talk about any of his stuff. And like, this floors Mott, because Mott knows that Yanni would never pay lip service to any authority figure. Like, that is one of the things that's gotten him and Yanni in so much trouble, is that Yanni will never play nice with an authority figure. And the fact that he is being this cooperative with a police officer and saying that kind of stuff to a police officer just floors him. And he listens, and the conversation goes on, and then he finds out that Yanni is getting together some of his drinking buddies, and they're all going to join the search parties to comb through the forest that afternoon after work. And that all the drinking buddies feel responsible for all the terrible things he's done because they should have been the ones to know before he did something terrible, and they didn't catch it in time. So they want to take responsibility by trying to help find him. And he's just like, Yanni would never say anything like that if he didn't mean it. But Yanni's never said anything to him about it. And it's trying to sell this idea that, like, the main character sacrificed everything for this town. like 15 years beforehand. He had the option to leave, but he gave up the one really great thing he had in his life, which was his marriage, in order to stay in this town because he couldn't imagine leaving. And then the main character is now finding out this town ain't squat. This town, the people in this town will turn on you for no reason. They will turn on you at the drop of a hat. In order to serve their best interests, they will betray everyone. They will forget anyone who left. There is no real like cohesiveness and loyalty in this town. And it's this idea that like he's expecting this whole, we're a small town, we stick together, we work together, we care about each other. But he's finding out this is a small town of gossips, of backstabbers, of people who will betray you as soon as it benefits them. But there was one part I wasn't sure about that I'm still not sure if I want to leave in, because it makes the chapter longer. I normally like to have my chapters be about 2,000 words. And yeah. I introduced one section in last chapter where he stops to get something to eat. And he's like, he knows they're looking for him. So he's like, I need to get something to eat. He got some cash when he grabbed his bug out bag. So he's like, if I'm going to stop somewhere to eat, I need to stop somewhere that I would normally never go, that I'd never be caught dead at. That no one will think to look for me there, right? And then what I settled on, because this character, while he's inspired by some of, like, every main character I write is inspired by some of my own experiences, but they're not all me. Like, it's not exactly a self-insert, right? So here I'm kind of playing with that concept where the place that he would never be caught dead at is a vegan bistro. Some hip and modern new age vegan bistro that is recently been opened up by out-of-towners and is frequently usually frequented by upper-class kids and tourists. And the town didn't get very many tourists, so we didn't expect to be recognized. So it's this restaurant that's being run by out-of-towners, and I kept it. I'm thinking about keeping this section in because it makes the chapter 2,500 words. It takes the chapter from 1,800 words to 2,500 words, and I'm thinking about keeping it in because it sells this idea that, like, at first he's eating, the food's not nearly as bad as he thought it would be. It's not the same, but it's definitely not bad. He reads the newspaper. It gives him a chance to see what the news is saying about him, right? Because I wanted there to be something where he sees what the news is saying about him, right? And then as he's reading the newspaper and eating his apple pie with his oat milk ice cream, 2 police officers walk in, and he's like, great. And they start walking towards him, and he's like, he puts the newspaper up to his face so that way he's trying to, like, do that thing where you hide behind a newspaper. And he starts panicking. He's like, did someone recognize me? Did someone call the police? Blah, blah, blah. But then he hears the waitress on the opposite side of the restaurant just say, hey, officers, I got a seat for you over here. And the officer's like, oh, sure thing. And they turn and they walk, and there's a partition and wall in the way. So once they sit down, he can't see them. And he takes a deep breath. He's like, whew, I was close. And so the waitress brings over his check, his bill in a check presenter, and he goes to expect, he's like, okay, I'll just, he's gonna leave, gonna pay with his cash, right? He opens it and there's no bill. Instead of there being a bill, there's a note that just says, I'll keep them busy. Get out of here now. And then it all fits into place where he realized these out-of-towners recognized him, but these out-of-towners that don't know him, that have never spoken to him a day in their lives, are willing to stick their neck out there and keep the and give him a chance to eat, to rest, and to run without selling him out to the police because they don't believe the news. And that was one thing I wanted to emphasize here, where it's just like he's always had this thought that like the town is the best place. The people here, he couldn't imagine leaving this town. But now he's seeing that maybe there's more to this world than this one little town in the middle of nowhere. And that's just one thing that he ponders as he makes his way out of town. And then at the end of last chapter, he gets to the cavern with his big bag of supplies that he's filled up. He gets to the cavern where he left Godo and Scorpo, and he sees a campfire. It's a well-made and smokeless campfire, so he couldn't see it from far away. And as he approaches the campfire, he like goes full like sneaky mode and sneaks up and does that anime thing where like you like disappears and reappears. It's not that anime, but like basically he sneaks up on this guy and he gets right behind the guy with a pistol. And then before he can announce himself, before he can say anything, he hasn't stepped on any twigs, hasn't revealed himself, the guy, without even turning around, and says his name. Actually, he does turn around. The guy just says, "Hello, Mott Christopher, it's good to see you," and then just turns around and looks at him. And that's where the chapter ends. That's where last chapter ended, and that's what brings us now to chapter 8. Vengeance movie. Well, it's not really vengeance. It's he's not gonna like enact vengeance on the town. He's just realizing that like this town that he gave up everything for, he's just doesn't care about him. Like this town is willing to throw him under the bus instead of That's true. Characters at a cafe with people who help the main character. I hadn't thought of that. So what's the takeaway here? People who work in cafes know what to do. Cafes, the hideout of action heroes. Give me 1 second. Got to adjust my seat. I use a camping chair as my main seat for streaming and for using my computer, but like the bottom part always slides out of place, so I have to get up and rearrange it. I put this chair through so much. Manners make it. That's also true. I could have made that scene longer, but the chapter was already long because he had the things where he stopped at his friends' places. And I just wanted to sell that idea that this town ain't squat. Like this town would sell him out to the authorities without hesitation. That no one wants to hear his story. None of the people that he thought were his friends care enough to hear his side of the story. They just instantly believe what's in the newspapers. So this chapter, for this chapter's outline, let me check the outline. What do I have here? Because again, my superpower is having a strong outline. He wants to freak out, pulls a knife out of the bag, but the Wildozoid mentally calms him down. As he approaches, he sees the man is older, scraggly beard, finds out this man is his ex-wife's father, reveal that his ex-wife was a Zoid's researcher. So this is the plot twist. This is the reveal of the thing we've hinted at about the wife, about the ex-wife. Give him a flashback to that moment whenever she gives him back the ring after she evacuated and he didn't go. So this is the part that reveals that this thing that we've been hinting at. We've been hinting at this thing about his divorce, about his ex-wife, about him not really recovering after that whole thing happened. And we've made reference. We've referenced her, that her name is Elizabeth. I never named the father-in-law. Never named the ex-father-in-law. Let me do ex-father-in-law. Mountain Man. Need a good name for the father-in-law, for the ex-father-in-law. I didn't give the wife a maiden name. I gave her a new married name because she's married. This means I have to come up with her maiden name. Gotta come up with a good name. Mr. John. Fine, we'll go historical. Booth. Like John Wilkes Booth, but he's just John Booth. I don't even know who is John Wilkes Booth. I just know it's a historical name. I don't know who he is. Oh, the person who assassinated Abraham Lincoln. That's funny. Not using that name. No, not using that name. Not using that name. Not even. No. We're gonna call him JJ. John Joshua. No, I gotta give him a last name. I got it. I got a name, Nabiru. John Joshua Justice. Goes by Triple J for short. By JJJ for short. What do you think, Nabiru? This character is only in this book for this chapter and is never referenced again. Maybe in flashbacks or maybe in side references, but never has any screen time after this chapter. Yes. John Joshua Justice. JJJ. You were going to mention a lot of mechanical sounding names. Well, this guy's a mountain man who lives off of nature. I'm trying to work on varying sentence structure because when you have a main character that travels alone, which happens a surprising amount in my stories, you start so many things by saying, he did this, he did that, main character did this, main character did that, or this happened to main character. And I want to have varied sentence structure, so I've been working on trying to start my sentences like with the verb in the beginning, or maybe not always have the subject in the beginning, in order to have some sentence variation as I'm trying to describe the things that are happening. What's good? What should be good for a mountain man? Would a mountain man wear jeans? I always imagine anyone being outdoors wearing jeans because jeans can take so much of a beating. Leather. Could do leather pants. I feel like that would chafe after a long time. Ooh, I could tie this back into something else where he checked in on Scorpo before. I know I said something about Scorpo enjoying what he's doing. Scorpo was happy with whatever it was doing. Okay. Yes, when he was introduced to his grandmother. Okay. When we introduced the grandmother, who we never named. We never named the grandmother because she's only in the one chapter. But grandmother and yes, we do say Scorpo was happy. Then we drop the other shoe. We reveal that this man is the main character's ex-father-in-law. No, he wasn't in the militia at the time. Hmm. Okay, so this is kind of defining this trope that, like, I'm not entirely sure why I'm playing with here, but this trope where the main character is this, like, down to earth, very simple, um salt of the earth kind of guy who's just like a good guy who tries to do his best and help out and make the world a better place and just cares about everything. He's not super smart, he's not super talented, but he's just a good man, right? And then the wife, or in this case, ex-wife, was a genius, was accelerated in her field, graduated college at 18, got a promising job working on a top secret project for the Empire. And from the father's perspective, his daughter could do much better than this simple warehouse worker. Um, and that is a trope that I wanted to play with a little bit. I don't know if it reflects on some of my own feelings of inadequacy or, but, uh, but yeah, I know it's a well-worn trope, but it fits because, like, the main character's main talent is that he keeps trying, and that he's willing to do the right thing even if it involves sacrifice. I'm giving the ex-wife purple hair, and I'm not going to state whether it's natural because it's anime or whether it's dyed. I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna put that in my notes that she has purple hair. Because anime demands it. Gave him the name Justice. We're on the first page, so I don't want to... Let me check my outline. Where am I doing? Oh, we're on chapter 8. Okay, so this guy is in this is in here for 2 chapters, chapter 8 and chapter 9. Chapter 8, I want to be big, heavy on the flashbacks, explaining about the wife, explaining about the relationship, actually showing the moment that his life changed, that that we've referenced and hinted at multiple times. And then chapter 9, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough material to make a full chapter out of chapter 9. I keep wondering if I have enough stuff in my, because my outlines are so short, I keep wondering if I have enough stuff to make a full chapter out of it, but then it just kind of comes together. But chapter 9 is going to be where he talks to the father-in-law, and the father-in-law explains probably some of the entry stuff about the environment dying, and that the main character needs to do this not to try to win back the ex-wife, but because it's what Planet Z needs, and kind of explaining some of the environmental damage that's been caused by losing the Zoids, the wild Zoids. And then kind of pushing on his love of the environment. Okay. Okay. Actually, let me check. Okay, chapter 9 is when I have that land about him living off the land. How many words am I up to so far? This might be a short chapter, which would be fitting after the last chapter was so long. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is a quote. True. This is where we're delving into the flashback of main character having a flashback to the night his whole life changed. Ugh. All right. Frantically throwing things into her suitcase. So now we delve in, yeah, like I said, this is where we go into the deep flashback. Okay. Explosions. Sound of battle. Mott was scared and confused. Alrighty. Actually, let me check. That was not the button I wanted. This is the button I wanted. Where? This is the Western continent. Is on. Gygalos is located. Dark continent. This is the dark continent. Central continent have a name? I think it was just called the Central Continent. Actually, hold on. Okay. I knew I misspelled that properly. Indecision. Actually, give me 1 second. Let me check one thing. There we go. Dark continent. Actually, hold on. I think that picture of the dark continent had. Delpoi. Okay. 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 Here we go. Did I not grab this map already? Hold on. No, I didn't grab this map. Oh, whoop. Okay, there we go. All right, so they're on Europa. Just say we can leave Europa and head to Delpoi or Nyx. Is that the right word? In tone? What's that mean? Intoned. Okay, with little. So this is making other references, and I'm not explaining a whole lot because the character wouldn't explain a whole lot. But anywhere but right here. Okay, so this is where it's leaning into this whole thing where it's like he's having flashbacks within flashbacks where he's remembering what he was feeling in that moment. He's remembering, he's being consumed with these feelings where in that moment he was just like, I can't go, I can't leave. He's thinking about all these things he values, and what's funny is that like all the things that he values have turned on him. Ba ba da ba da ba da ba da. I think this sets up a really funny scene where like his wife is like frantically packing and is frantically like trying to prepare to evacuate, and like he's just standing there having an existential crisis, and he's just like, can I leave for someone I've known for just over 5 years? What would be something funny to say? Like more useless than like boosters on a cannon tortoise. Oh, am I getting somebody do heart reacts? I just saw that out the corner of my eye. Normally, when I see that, that means Okusen is hiding somewhere nearby. So this is the moment where the character's having the flashback. He's deep in the flashback, and I'm actually surprised. I managed to flesh out the flashback really well. This has been coming together really well. I have what? Okusense? I get it. I get it, I get it, Nabaru. It's so good. How many words am I up to? Oh, 1,400. Well, almost 15. It's still gonna be a short chapter, but that's okay. That's fine. My last chapter was 500 over. This one was like 400 or 500 under. That's fine. This is just such a heart-wrenching scene where like the the wife is just like her heart is breaking as she's realizing that like this relationship that she cared about so much is now ending. All right, Silva, thanks for coming to the stream. It was great having you. And okay. Alrighty. All right. Okay. All right, I think we're doing pretty good here. Okay. Okay. That's a good one. Let me change this line up here. So now we have this heartbreaking scene where he made this choice. He chose this town over his marriage, and then now it's coming back to bite him, where all the people he sacrificed for now aren't willing to help him. So then it just ends with JJ laughing at him. Actually, I think this part. Leave that there. So we end this with him saying, how'd that work out for you? How many words did we get done tonight? Words tonight was 1894. That's fine. And then that's another 34 words. Let's start on the next chapter. We're almost to 16K words. Nice. We are chucking along. I'm aiming for 54K words. That's what I'm aiming for. 2K words chapter, and then 27 chapters makes 54. Might go for like 56 depending on how long. There's gonna be the epilogue, so that's kind of just bonus of like 56. But yeah, I think that was pretty good. There was a lot of repetition here, but I wanted to do it. And this also kind of brings things full circle because like he isn't like a survivalist, right? But he has a bug out bag because that was the thing that was one of the last things his wife said to him before they split. Was that he should get a bug out bag, and he doesn't know a whole lot about making a bug out bag. So like that's why whenever he goes to actually grab his bug out bag, he still has other stuff he needs to put in it. So it's not even a completed bug out bag. I think I want to change one little bit here. Here we go. There we go. Changing this part. I'm changing how I did this. And this also harkens back to like the fact that he never actually got that management position. I'm changing the tenses. Okay. I like that a little bit better. I don't normally like to do a lot of editing for this because like the idea is get words on paper, but like I finished this chapter, so I just wanted to go back and clean it up a little bit. Okay. Lost a couple words there in the middle. Anyway. Tonight was a good stream. Made some good progress. Oh, yep. I might do chapter 9 after stream ends, just to keep things moving. So I could maybe finish Act 1 tonight, get ahead. I want to get, since I'm going to be out a week, I don't know if I'm going to have time to do my writing every single day of the week that I'm going to be gone. So I want to get some of the writing done before I leave. Like I want to get ahead a little bit. Though I still reserve the right to call audible and not go on this trip if I suspect something funny. All right. It was a good stream. Change over to the holiday playlist. Holiday playlist. Had a good stream. Had a good night. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's see. Oh, looks like Scooch is a content creator that I follow. And his girlfriend, there was a post about how hard they work on doing their photo shoots and stuff, because Scooch's partner does, I think, OnlyFans. I don't know if it's OnlyFans or Fansly. It's one of those. Oh, that's cool that you posted this like really heartwarming thing about how hard her and Scooch worked in order to learn how to get better at doing photo shoots. And I'm like, that's always nice to see people accomplishing stuff together. They're one of my favorite power couples. Is there another Gurren Lagann movie? This doesn't look like any of the Gurren Lagann movies I've seen. I saw someone posting about a Gurren Lagann Childhood's End. What is... the lights in the sky. Is that the name? I always knew it was like Lagann Head and Gurren Hen. Gurren Lagann movie 2. All the lights are stars. So is Childhood's End the first one? Oh, that's in 2009? Okay. Then Childhood's End, which came out in 2008, must be the first movie. Okay. Okay. I was about to be like, yo, did they make another movie and I miss it? I was about to be like, yo, what? Gurren Hen is Childhood's End. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I know they did that. I do want to share. There is a VTuber I want to shout out that I don't know if you follow yet. I don't know, because you're on the Naburo, are you in the Hero Girls Discord? I forget if you're in that one. Okay. Well, one of the members of that stream, of that server, Android Jess, let me get a link to. Makes sense. Please don't play back. Get a link to it. Is doing a journey to 250 followers on Twitch and wants to hit 250 before the end of the year, and they're at 248. They promised to do something really embarrassing if they hit 250 before the end of the year. So here. So, if you or anyone you know is interested in, I know they're a VTuber, and they do VTube content. I know they've been doing a lot of Cult of the Lamb recently. What's my subscriber count at? Because I haven't gained subscribers in a while. I should do a journey to 252. I'm at 246. I need 4 more subscribers to hit 250. That's funny. Anyway, it's time to end stream. It's time to wind down for the night. To wind down, we had a great writing stream, had some good talkies. And we're all doing groovy like gravy. Okay. Post on here. I want to let Android Jess know that I'm cheering for them. All right. Okay, so I want to say to everyone who showed up to stream today, to Silva, to Nabiru, and I think Okusen was in there somewhere silently, and to anyone who watched the stream and didn't say anything, and anyone who watches this VOD afterwards, I want to say I love all of you, and I believe in each and every one of you. I think that each one of you is a truly special, wonderful, and unique individual, and I believe that each one of you makes this world a better place by being in it. Thank you for coming to my stream. Thank you for being a member of my community and giving me your time, your energy, and your attention. Thank you for being so wonderful and for making my life better. I'm grateful every day to live in a world with you in it. Always remember the Star Hunter motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always stop to enjoy the memes. And one thing that I do ask is that you like the stream and share it with other people if you think that anyone might enjoy it. If you think your friends, neighbors, aunts, uncles, nephews, best friends, supervillain, arch nemesis would enjoy my content, feel free to show them or invite them to the next stream. Next stream is going to be, what's today? Today's Friday, so it's going to be Monday. I might start streaming on Wednesdays because I recently left the D&D game that I'm in. So I don't know if I'm going to do streams on Wednesdays or if I'm going to take that as an off day just to recover. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is just going to be real busy with holiday stuff happening. But I'm going to try to make some seitan tonight. Anyway. Good night, everybody. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing on YouTube, you can subscribe and ding the notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live and when I release any new content. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing outside of YouTube, you can follow me on X or Twitter, or join my Discord. Links to both of those are in the description down below. One thing I do say is you do not have to donate to be a member of this community. You don't have to pay to be welcome here. I never want anyone to feel like that is any kind of obligation or requirement. With that said, I am very grateful to all of the people who have donated, who have helped me with things in the past, who have helped make things possible in my life. Thank you to each and every one of you for being amazing. And if you are ever financially in a position to be able to do so, and you ever feel motivated to help me out in any way, there are links where you can do that down in the description below. Have yourselves a wonderful night, and I'll see all of you on Monday.